we're going to be talking about marketing and branding as it pertains to bands and artists of all kinds, which is, you know, it's an interesting topic, especially now that everything has changed in our world with COVID. It's how do I market myself? How do I brand my music? How do I brand my band? So, you know, it's all super, super important, and it's all things we're going to talk about. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait a few more minutes till people get in here, but the first 15 or 20 minutes, we're going to talk to you, the local artist or the unsigned artist, about questions you've submitted, suggestions that we have about how to keep your music alive, how to align your music, keep it branded, and keep it going. So the first 15 minutes of this will be about that. At about 5:20 Pacific time, we're going to bring in my boy Mitch Blackman. Mitch Blackman is a very big agent at ICM. He handles some of his bigger clients are Blackbear, Robert Glasper, Kamasi, Washington. He handles Kid Inc., Boney James. He used to rep YG. So Mitch is coming on in about 15-20 minutes, and he's going to kind of give you guys a perspective of, you know, what it's like for like famous guys right now that aren't touring, that have brand sponsorships. How are they surviving? You know, so we're going to talk a little bit in a few minutes just about local bands, unsigned acts. How can I brand? How can I market myself, especially during COVID? And at about 5:15, 5:20, we'll bring in Mitch. Mitch will tell you what it's like from the big guy standpoint. Like, think about like artists that should be touring right now that have or had major sponsorships with American Express or Pepsi or Coke, and they were doing arena tours. Where is that sponsorship? Where's that money? Did they have to give the money back? Did they keep the money? Is the money not been paid? So these are all things we're going to discuss with Mitch. But like I said, a few more minutes, about 2-3 minutes, we're going to get in here, and we're going to talk about local unsigned guys, unsigned acts. What can you do? We're going to help you out. I got Nelson over here. I got Buster. I got my dog Jack. Some chick's supposed to bring us pizza, so she might come in the frame at some point. But you know, we're all here, and we are in Hollywood, California, where it's about probably 75 degrees out. It's beautiful out. So we're in the Hollywood Hills. We're tucked away. We're going to answer all your questions. So we've got questions that were submitted. Buster and Nelson are going to be fielding your questions. So if you have questions, please put them in the bottom. But we're all here. We're all here. We're going to do this. So I want to first of all thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to do it every month. So it's going to be the last Friday of every month. For those of you who were with us last month, we were with Kyle Carter, who's an agent at APA. And his major clients are he has Polo G. Who does Kyle have?
He has Young Dolph, Key Glock,
Juicy J, Young Dolph. So Kyle was with us last month. He might even be in here right now. And then the first one was just us. So we have a great guest for October. It's Adrian Miller, who is a manager and a label owner. He's responsible for Anderson .Paak. He represents Mariba, and he's involved with RZA and Wu-Tang as a music supervisor. So next month, October 30th, is Adrian Miller. He'll be here, and he'll tell you how Anderson got signed. We've worked with Anderson, and he'll tell you exactly how the whole thing went down. So next month's topics are labels and management. So tonight's topics are marketing and branding. So what can you do right now in COVID world to market and brand your music other than just recording it and putting it out there? So I'm going to get right to the questions. If you have questions as we go along, just put them in the chat. The guys are here. They'll facilitate it. They'll shout it out to me, and we'll rock with it, okay? But this is free advice for you guys. This should be informative. I've been around for almost 25 years. I've seen and done everything. I'm a manager. I'm a promoter. I'm a businessman. And I'm going to tell you guys from our end of things, marketing and branding 101 tonight. With that said, let's get it going. First a sip. And if you guessed if it was vodka, you'd be right. Okay, so the first question that was submitted to us was, other than my music, what's the first step in branding myself? Other than my music, what's the first step to branding myself? Well, that's a very good, lead off question. So there's you, the artist that makes music, right? And that's first and foremost. So first and foremost, you create, you make music, right? So your brain, your juices, all that is based on the music you make. But that music has to have a character. It has to have a theme to it. The days are sort of gone of just music being made that's good and nothing else behind it. So you sort of need to come up with a concept. Like, you don't have to come up with a style, because your music is a style. And your music's going to categorize as pop or hip hop or rock or electronic or whatever. But you need to come up with a style. Who am I? Where does my music reach? Who does my music reach to? So that's the first thing I would do is, associate yourself with what does my music mean? What's it like? So am I pop? Am I stoner? Am I hip hop? Am I rock? So think about that and align that with, I don't know, something that makes sense. Like, if you're all peace, love, and happiness, then maybe you're the sun or the moon, and maybe that's part of your branding concept, and all your graphics and your content involve things like that. But you need, as an artist, you need to be a business person and associate yourself outside of just the music. So align yourself with something that's relevant to your music, okay? Sometimes it's weed, sometimes it's booze, sometimes it's girls, sometimes it's peace, love, and hip-hop. But you need to align yourself with something. And I'm going to blaze through these questions. So, yes, the red cup. There it is. As an upcoming and relatively unknown artist, how do I separate myself from everyone else? Well, that sort of goes back to the last question. So how do you separate yourself from sounding and looking and being like everyone else? Branding. So what's your brand? So your music is speaking for itself, but what is the brand? Like, what are you? What are you aligning yourself with? So I'm big on visuals and content. So yes, any one of us can go make a music video. We could stand on top of a car and tunnel and rap and sing and whatever, right? Okay, that's cool. But I'm big on animation. So if you're an artist and you're making music, try animation. There are graphic designers, there are cartoon artists, there are people looking to do stuff. So if you can make your visuals cartoons or sketches, that's a big win, because not a lot of people are doing it. So that leads into another thing I want to talk about is create your character. So you're an artist, right? Create an emoji of yourself. If you had to sit down as an artist and say, okay, what's my emoji? Think about that. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, think about what emoji would I be as an artist, and run with that. Everyone can make a video, like I said, of standing on a car in a tunnel or a boat or whatever. Be creative with it. This will all tie into who your character is and who your brand is. What tactics can I use to get my music in front of a bigger audience? Content, content, content. I say it all the time. Spotify, Instagram. Yes, there's TikTok. That's goofy shit, okay? It's goofy little videos. It's cool. People are making a living off of it. But as an artist, you want to be prominent on Spotify. You want to be prominent on Instagram. We're on Instagram right now, and you probably listen to Spotify today at some point. So those are the two things you got to figure out how to be big on. How do I get on those, and how do I get bigger? So Spotify, Instagram. Will getting my music in front of more people get me more fans? Will getting my music in front of more people get me more fans? How do I grow my fan base? It all sort of ties into the same thing. So I've talked about this before. I'm a firm believer that great music, you guys, it's always going to find its way. Great music will always find an audience. It will. A great actor will not always find its way or its audience. A great painter may not find its audience or find its way. But music, listen, if any one of us in here right now heard something that was the most amazing thing we ever heard, ever, totally different, we'd be telling people about it. That's the difference. So as a musician, your art carries. So, great music will find its way. So how do I make great music? Well, that's up to you. But great music will make your fan base grow. You want to grow your fan base, associate with other artists that are like you, associate with other brands that are like you. If you're like a classic hip-hop artist and you like Adidas, align with Adidas. How do I start? I don't know anyone at Adidas. What do I do? Well, get on their Instagram. Get on Adidas's Twitter. Follow them. Be active in their community. Be active in their fan base. Show their products when you want, but align with brands that sound like your music as well. Remember, you guys, ask questions in the bottom. The guys are taking notes too. How do I build industry relationships? Where do I network and what do I do? Okay, guys, first and foremost, it's all true. It's all true who you know. It is. I was an actor, right? And when I was an actor, everyone said, oh, it's who you know. That's how you get jobs. That's how you get parts. It's true. So, it makes it easier. So my point here is network where you can. And it's tough now because we can't do things the way we used to. But network with people where you can, build relationships, and most importantly, you guys, stay in touch with those people. I can't stress this enough. There's people in this chat right now that send me emails and say, hey, I'm doing this, and, can you check this out? And when I can, I will. But stay in touch with industry. So meet industry, be friendly with industry, stay in contact with industry. Do not bombard industry. Don't send them your whole album unsolicited. If someone in the industry didn't ask for your music, do not send it to them. If you want to send your music to industry, send them an email or a message first. Hey, do you mind if I send this to you? Because otherwise it's delete, 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 delete. I get it all day from SHP, and I get it from being a manager. And if it's not solicited, if you didn't ask me, you're telling me you're going to send it to me, I'm not listening to it. It's deleted. So don't waste your time. Does it make sense to use and create promotional items to give out and market with? Absolutely. So this is something that we'll get bigger on after Mitch, but he'll probably talk about it too. But yes, branding, you need to have your brand on merchandise, okay? This isn't my shirt. I didn't make this shirt. This shirt was actually Knitting Factory. The company Knitting Factory made this shirt, and they made me buy it. And I do miss live music. But this is our brand. This is the Equality hat. And this is the SHP face mask. Okay? So the thing is that yes, you need merch. And when I say merch, not just like, oh, I'm going to put my band name on a hat and everyone's going to buy my hat. It's not true. Be creative with it. Tie your name of your act into something. Make it interesting. Okay? We don't all need the so-and-sos, on our t-shirt. Be creative with your merch, but make merch. You need it, especially right now with everything, because there's no saying when shows are coming back. There just isn't. But you want to be ready to have your merch when there is, so that you can sell it at the shows. But like I said, be creative with your merchandise. Make it stand for something. This is the Equality hat, okay? Love this hat. We sell this hat all the time. We sell the shirts all the time. So be creative with it. Does buying followers help at all? Now, this is an interesting topic, okay? Yes, we all sort of look at like how many Instagram followers, Twitter followers, Spotify. I'm guilty of it too. I mean, if I'm listening to a new artist, I'm looking at their profile. I'm looking to see how many followers they have. I'm looking to see what their Instagram is. I wish it wasn't true, okay? And it wasn't. 5 years ago, nobody cared, okay? 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you didn't care about Instagram or Twitter. There was MySpace, and yeah, you looked to see how many friends somebody had, but that wasn't how your music was judged in the analytics, okay? So it's super, super important that you don't buy followers. I know it's hard. I think about it all the time too. We have like 5,000 followers, right? That's great. It's cool. They're all organic. And sometimes I'm like, man, what if we had 20,000? What if we had 25,000? What if we were verified? You know, that's all great and everything, but the reality is the industry and people can tell if your followers are real or not real. It's in the analytics. They have analytic departments. So my advice to you guys, and I wrestle with it too because I want us to have more followers. Don't buy them. Just don't. People can tell. I'm sure some of you guys watch other people's and you're like, wow, their followers haven't gone up at all, and they just put an album out, or they just did this, and their followers, you know. So don't do that at all. Do not buy followers. Should I pay for playlist placements? As this pertains to branding and marketing, I gotta say I'm okay with it. I really am. But you have to be careful. You don't want to get into buying onto somebody's playlist that isn't relevant, okay? You want to be on a playlist that is relevant, but I'm okay with, if it's someone who's relevant and their playlist is relevant, then absolutely, then it's worth it. But if you see some of these dudes on Instagram are posting, you can get on my playlist, I get Rap Caviar. No, they don't, okay? So the dude who's showing the Rap Caviar Instagram, get on a playlist, send me $20. Do not do that, okay? First of all, that dude's not affiliated with Rap Caviar, and you're not going to get on it, okay? So don't waste your money with that. Playlists happen organically. If they don't happen, you know, just the way that we want them to happen. And I can tell you that from a manager's standpoint, because we didn't have playlists. The first year and a half, we weren't on any playlists. Now they ask us to be on playlists. So don't buy the fake, don't buy fake followers. If it's a legit playlist, legit, and you did your research, then yeah, I think you can do that.
I think Sean's gonna say.
I just waved to Mitch, but I don't see him trying to join.
He's saying request now. Bye.
Okay, so we're about to get Mitch on here, you guys. But yeah, you can tell. Someone's saying I can tell that followers that yep, there we go. Yeah. It says waiting for Agent Mitch. Connecting. Yep.
Yo,
Is that you?
come on, man. I told you I got
Look
the
at
new
that.
look. Got the new look.
That is
the crispy white.
I got the mullet to match that crispy.
Yeah, I don't got the mullet.
I got the mullet, folks. So listen, I'm bringing Mitch Blackman in here, and we've been talking for about 20 minutes, and I just wanted to remind you guys that if things come across blurry or the sound's off or whatever, we post the audio on our Spotify, so you can get audio of this afterwards. So sometimes when you bring someone in, it gets all
It's
weird.
probably better. It's probably better. It's just audio for the way you look. To be honest.
Do I look all broken up?
No. Well, yeah, it does, but I don't think it's a connection. But you definitely look broke. Ah.
So
I'm
yeah, just
like,
a reminder, you guys, if you can't see us properly, and we are both very sexy dudes,
Yeah.
you can get the audio of this. It'll be available. So, and it's the audio that counts, really.
Correct. Just like music. Oh.
All right. So my guy Mitch, I already told the audience, but I'm gonna tell him again because people pipe in and out. Mitch has been an agent for, I want to say, almost 20 years.
Probably close to it.
Yeah,
Probably like
and
17, 18, somewhere around there.
and currently, some of the bigger clients that you handle are, like I said earlier on the thing, Blackbear, Robert Glasper, Kamasi, Washington, Kid Ink. Correct?
Yeah, and yeah, Masego I rep. I have a whole bunch. I'm trying to think. Sorry, you just caught me for a loop. I've rep Music Soul Child for 16 years. I have everything from the R&B. I rep a couple TV shows that are going out that we're going to be doing a live tour with, and everything from the jazz, R&B, hip hop, etc. Yeah.
Dope. So what we're sort of talking about, and there's two facets to this, because obviously we're in COVID world, so everything's sort of skewed. And we have a lot of artists that are in here that are sort of unsigned and still finding their way. And we just spent about 20 minutes talking to them about how they can in the market, especially during the pandemic. But let me ask you this, like off the top. What's the agent's role in helping an artist build their brand or bringing brands to the artist?
I think what the agent's role is, I can give you the traditional agent role and what today's agent does that separates people now. Because obviously the COVID situation and where we're at in the world, I think all of our jobs are different. And I think we're all assuming 2, 3, 4, 5 different jobs right now because we have to. And we have to survive, and we have to be creative, and we have to take ours to a next level without the touring right now. So what an agent does as far as brand building is we build the brand through the touring. So that's step one. Every agency, major agency, has a brand department. Smaller agencies don't, but then it's on the responsible agent, that reps the talent directly to figure it out, to make the calls, to find things that are in line with the brand. And like, I just got off a signing Zoom just now, and the first thing I told him, I was like, your brand is 90% of this, and the other 10% is the music. People like what other people like. Does that make sense? So I think that's kind of the key and where it is now.
So will an artist sign with an agent because of their branding possibilities or branding?
Absolutely. I think for me, it's not, because my background, I was a musician, so I'm more about the music first. So if they don't have the music, I'm not like, look at the late 90s, early 2000s, and look at the, probably mid 90s to early 2000s, where basically someone wrote a song, hand delivered it to a product, and they sang it and got famous. The world we're living in now, there's so many more musicians, artists, celebrities, talent. The internet's bigger, that I don't think you can create an artist anymore. I think it is something where they have to have the talent as well.
How many, like with some of your bigger artists, what percentage of their revenue would you say comes from branding or sponsorships?
10%,
10%.
5, 10, 15.
Some more than others.
Right, because it's what we got to understand is that the branding and marketing, if we look at the direct compensation for it, that number may be small, but it's about the brand building and the brand a lot. Like, let's look at the Travis Scott McDonald's deal. That changed the game. Now everybody's going to want equity in hamburgers or whatever it is. It's right. Literally, it catapulted his career to the next stratosphere.
So that's a great point. So who was responsible for that campaign? I know who the agent is.
I'm not sure.
But like who
I don't know. I don't know how that deal was done, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Because you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
that Travis Scott McDonald's and Travis Scott, you know, PS5 or video game, whatever, is all so whoever's handling Travis Scott's branding is a genius because it's all
Right,
working.
but I also want to say it's the artist. You know, I think it stems from the artist first. And it's around the people around him to execute. So look, he did the first Astro World where he had the rides and he wanted to. I mean, he is always been thinking about branding, and I don't know for sure if it was by surrounding himself with around Jenner and other people that are also very smart in the branding world. But I'm sure he looks around to the people around him and say, wow, if they can do that and I can do this, and Kanye's doing that and Kanye's doing this, well, I'm going to have my own festival, and I'm going to have my own this, and I'm going to have my own that, and I'm going to have my own sneaker, and he's done it. He flat out has done it.
So when you take on a client of note, okay, because we're going to talk about unsigned artists and stuff like that, but when you take on somebody who's had relative fame or is about to have fame, is the branding, is their branding appeal part of your decision to take them on or not, or is it not? It's just extra.
I think it's like I'll use my example of Blackbear because it's still developing, and I think he's so well minded in his brand. Like we're starting to now get the brand partnerships that we've been talking about for 4 or 5 years, but I think what he sees is like his branding is always colors. So he was on pink before everyone went pink. Like he was on yellow before yellow. Do you know
And
how you
orange,
start?
I think he wore orange
He
jumpsuit
did
on that tour.
orange, and then you saw
Yeah,
everyone do orange. Right now, it's
yeah,
baby blue. So to me, he's a marketing genius just with the color. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that's his angle. That's what he goes after. You know, you see all kids painting their nails. You know, he's been painting his nails for two years, right? So
Yeah.
it is about the brand, the brand that he has created, and he's not following trends. He's trying to create trends, and I think that's what defines an artist as an artist and not just a singer.
Now, if there's a branding opportunity that doesn't come from you but comes from the manager side, how does that go down? Or are you involved or not involved, or is the agency involved or not? So like, let's say the manager comes to you and says, hey, we're going to be doing this thing with Nike, so we need Nike banner behind the stage every show that you book. Like,
I
do you have a say in any of that?
I think that everybody, for me, I can only speak for myself, right? Every artist I work with, it's a team. It doesn't matter who brings it in or who takes credit. I don't give a shit about credit. I care about just getting it done. And too many times agents are about getting the credit or I mean, Sean, you deal with agents every day. It's people are always so worried about scared of losing a client, so they build up these big walls around them and get territorial when that's what blocks you from getting these type of deals, because you need as many hands on deck and as many resources and casting the net as wide as possible to bring in a deal. So I think for my situations on the clients I work with, when branded deals come in, we all talk collectively. You know, I have a client right now that just got a commercial for 40 weeks. And now it's like, okay, that's the licensing department because they got the song placed, right? And it's going to be a huge campaign. Now I'm doing a virtual concert with the artist. How do I implement and get that same company to now give me the product side? And so now it's we're coming up with a creative as a team, and we're surrounding the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Instead of me saying, no, you got that. Well, I know them better, or I have a better relationship. No, it's like, cool. All right. Hey, can you tell them this? And then I can do this. And then like we strategize on how to make that awesome branding opportunity bigger. And that means taking your ego, putting it to the side, and working with the label, your branding department, and the manager together.
Right. Now, let me ask you something, because I know you personally. So
Yeah.
I know that you've worked with some really, really big brands and artists.
Yeah.
So have you ever had an artist be dropped by a brand? for something they may have done?
That's a very good question. I've never personally had an artist be dropped for a brand, but I've gotten offers where they've decided to go in a different direction, but before the deal was already started, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I guess what I was alluding to is, has anyone fucked up where they lost their deal?
Of course, we see people make bad decisions. I mean, look at what Papa John's had to do for their brand by their CEO, and we see what happens when you have people that are misaligned views from what the brand has become, right? And so he had to take a sidestep. I mean, how much do you think Shaquille got for that check? Because I know nobody was messing with Papa John's.
Right.
And like I know that one of the festivals I was working with, you know, they you know, there was an opportunity to get a very big check to have them sponsor because it was a very diverse ethnic festival that we were trying to do, and we said no. Like, now's not the time, you know? So yes, is the short answer. It happens a lot, I think, and hopefully it'll never happen with me.
Have you had a client drop a brand and say, I can't be associated with them anymore?
I haven't seen them drop them, but I've seen them not renew them because the artists I've worked with have you know, they have an obligation to do what they said they were going to do, and if the vision has started going the opposite direction, then they said, you know, let's not do this anymore. My brand has grown in a different way, and so I've seen that happen a lot.
What do the branding contracts with the artists typically look like? Like, I know they're vary, but like, what's the duration? What are the out clauses? Like, can you give the audience some like insight on what like a major branding contract looks like other than the money, obviously?
Yeah, I think there's lots of things to negotiate. Like, I did a commercial where one of my clients did a Mitsubishi commercial, and I was fighting to get his name on the bottom. You know, I think what Nationwide did really well, and I use them as an example, is they always had that artist, if you remember, named at the bottom. And I remember I was fighting. Like, I didn't even care about the money. The money was only 15, 20 grand. But it was the fact I could get. Remember Leslie Odom? Like, a lot of people didn't know Leslie Odom until that insurance commercial. And it was because he was sitting at a piano and it had his name right at the bottom right. And I knew he was a Broadway guy, but I really didn't know all of it. Like Tori Kelly, when she did hers and it said Tori Kelly, we already kind of knew Tori, right? She already had a record out. So I think it's like when you talk about working with brands, it's about building your artist brand with their brand. So I'm always trying to make sure those little things are handled where I can get everything reverts back. Like, let's use the show stuff since we do so many shows together, right? If an artist doesn't have a project out or a project that doesn't align with his performance at your venue, say we're doing a show, right? And at wherever, at the Roxy. And then after the show, the fan's like, oh man, I want to hear that record that I saw at the show. Then they go online and they look at the artist, and then it's not the music they heard. You just lost the opportunity. So I think anything with branding, when you're doing these alignments, I want everything to revert back to the artist page so that he can gain fans. It's not about that money. It's not about the check. It's about the exposure to that art to as many people as possible.
Got it. And yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of shows together, and I've seen where some of the touring artists have sponsorship and branding and whatnot. So that brings me to the next question, which is obviously nobody's touring, but let's pretend we were.
Well, there's some people touring. I mean, come on, we got some drive-ins, right? We got some drive-ins happening.
I mean, you could book all the motorcycle rally events, non-mask.
Yo, I had Music Soul Child do a drive-in in Columbus on Saturday. That's sold out.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
the
I'm
chili
starting to get
cook-offs and all that are going to be fine. Okay, what role does touring play in marketing and branding? So how does touring, like we know the Travis Scott quarter pounder, we know that. How does the branding tie into touring? And what are the factors that a brand may decide, we want to sponsor this artist because, he's going on tour, Machine Gun Kelly, whatever. I think we did Machine Gun Kelly with you before, but something like that.
I think the unique position an agent has in the industry is you get to see all these places throughout the country. So we're, all the flyover states that we're in, when we see the demo and you invite, if say you're working with a Burrell out of Chicago and they show up to your show, they're looking at the demo, right? So it's a brand agency based out of Chicago. They're looking at the demo to see. Now those consumers are paying to see you. So it's not just a click. It's not just a free click on the internet. These are people that are actually going out of the way, leaving their house to go into the venue, to deal with people, to deal with the price of parking, all that stuff. So those are real true fans. So there's no better analytic. There's no better program on the internet that can tell you your demo than a live show, period. So I think I love it from my perspective because I talk to so many different people throughout the country in so many ages, sexes, different colors of skin, like everyone you can imagine I speak to. Then once I hear the same name numerous times, you can tell it's starting to break. Like now, some local artists out of Indiana or et cetera, et cetera.
Now, since COVID, like you probably had tours that were set up, right? Like we all did.
Absolutely.
So there's all these tours got canceled. What happens to a brand that was sponsoring a tour that was supposed to happen that may have already given all the money towards it? Like what's happening like now with COVID and branding deals that were in effect before COVID?
And Sean, I got a question too. With all these people making little comments and questions, can we answer some of them at the end?
Yeah, we're going to. We're going to in about 2 minutes. I'm watching the clock.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure because there's some good questions. I want. No,
we're on the last. We're on your last question right here, dude. Don't worry, I'm on it.
Oh, all right. No. I mean, I can talk to you for hours. You know that.
I'm a professional. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're a professional. So, I forgot the question now. Say it again.
The question was branding deals that were signed for with artists pre-COVID. What happened to those deals? Like, how is that being? Like,
well, I want to start answering that question by saying, touring and brand sponsorships for touring, to me and from what I've seen, have gone down significantly. Like I remember back in the day when we did the esports gaming. Like they would do their little thing. We would do the Hennessy artistry. We would do Grey Goose Rising Icons. We would do Heineken Red Star. We did. I did cool cigarettes with Mobb Deep and Twista. Yeah. We were doing so many, and nowadays I think ad spends are mostly online. People rather spend 15 grand on a TikTok campaign than a concert artist series. I also think, and just from my experience, that there are brands like Bud Light does their small concert series, and other companies like that are doing more. And if there is a brand attached to your tour, I see it more with festivals. Like if you notice Toyota is a sponsor of a lot of live streaming right now. That's a lot of these major companies and blue chip companies had money allocated from their marketing budget from that previous quarter. So that money's already spent from their budgets. That is going to sponsor a festival. When that festival now moves, where does that marketing dollars go? It's already been allocated. So a lot of people took that money and said, well, instead of giving it back to the sponsor, let's create a new platform. Let's try to use that money towards an online stream.
Got it.
Let's move
So that makes sense. But no one's had to like return the money. Like no branding that you know of was tour specific. Like we have to have our tires on stage every night at your 50 shows or whatever.
I think there has been those. And I know of a few of those. And I think it's just that they're waiting for the rescheduled of the tour. because a
Yeah.
lot of people have not said it's canceled. They said it's
Yeah.
rescheduled TBD.
Right, which is the big thing. Like you guys that are fans in here that are, you know, it's a big deal that the term between rescheduled and canceled. So obviously everything, when the shit hit the fan mid-March, everything was rescheduled, postponed. You guys probably had tickets to stuff. I did. You know, I had tickets to go to concerts and baseball games and whatnot, and it was postponed, 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 which means they're holding your money. You don't get your money back really until it's canceled. So
Correct.
we're starting now to see cancellations, and that's why I was wondering how that affects branding. There were brands that were specific to touring.
I think with brands, because it's all budget based per the quarter from those companies, that it's already in corporate. Think of corporate America. That money's already spent. Like if you're talking to any corporation right now, they're doing 21 budgets right now. So any major company you're talking to, they're in. If you notice, this week was hell. Like for me with work, it was just a lot of busy work, a lot of things. And then I talked to major companies. Everyone's doing their budgets for 21. What's up, Jack?
He's driving me nuts. He's been driving me nuts the whole time. So
oh, really?
I
It's probably
bring
because he
him up
heard
here
my
so he can
voice.
sit behind me. He's probably going to get on camera. Here we go. Okay.
Nice. So I think that money was already spent in the minds of a corporation. So I think it's going to be to my experience and what I'm working on. It's earmarked for the next situation.
Got it. So it's been sort of like no one's been like send us the money back right now because we can't be on the tour. You know, there's no tour, so we can't have our product on. I think
it's about the quality of team that you're working with. I would,
yeah.
You know me, I don't send money back. So let's come on, let's be honest. Like, let's figure it out. All right. Yeah, I can give you that back, but you already spent that in your budgets. Like you guys, it's gone already to you. So now let's make those marketing dollars work for your company. Let's get a live stream. Let's do a meet and greet. Let's do a Zoom where we do a master class with the artists. I'll think of anything and everything like to make sure I don't have to give that back. And I think it will be the benefit of the artist and the brand.
Let's take questions, but they're saying your camera's not on.
Yeah, frozen.
I'm frozen.
Yeah.
Is it back?
No, you want to log off and I'll bring you back in or something?
I don't know. Hold on a second.
You can hear him perfectly.
Yeah, we can hear everything, but
Weird.
It says your camera's not on.
Hold on a second because I'm way too beautiful for this. Hold on.
I got Jack giving me a full bath. But you guys, like, let Mitch figure this out. But he's giving you guys, like, super good advice. And, yeah, I mean, he's, like, Mitch handles real dudes, right? So this is, like, dudes and girls. But this is, like, real. There you go, dude. There you are.
Is that better?
Fucker. Look at how handsome you are.
Oh.
Not as handsome as this dog and me, but you're up there. Look at Jackie's going nuts. So let's take some questions because Mitch is the shit. Someone's saying I love this Mitch guy. So let's take some questions regarding branding and marketing.
And even the basic, because a lot of times, like, that's the difference between a manager and an agent. I saw that, and people, it's not that easy to understand. Like, what makes an agent different than a manager? Why do you need an agent? Why do you need a manager? What do they do? What I always say is I'm an extension of the manager. So the typical role of an agent is to bring in deals, right, in the touring space, TV and film, literary, or branding. That's pretty much all of them. Now esports, right, and speaking engagements. To bring that deal in with the manager, and then the manager will speak on behalf of the artist so that the artist can stay being creative and not bogged down by these conversations. So they get the deal, the manager tells you what deals to get or the direction that the artist is going, and the agent goes and sources that. So that's the difference.
That's
so
Booker versus that's agent versus manager. Now someone's asking Booker versus agent. An agent is the booker. So whoever asked that question, the agent gets you gigs.
Yeah, I book the shows.
Yeah. So now I'm a unique case because my client, we don't have an agent really. So we have people that help us, but we're not signed to anybody. So my client, we have agents help us, but we don't have a specific agent. mostly because I come from the world. So I
Yeah.
come from the booking world. So if I am managing a client and I can get the shows, we don't need to give an agent 10%. Essentially what it comes down to.
Yeah.
All right, Nelson's
And then
got a
I
question.
can have a healthy debate on why that's not the best for your artist, and then you can tell me why it is.
That's another live stream, dude. That's a whole
Oh,
other.
he doesn't want to take up this time for that. I'm
No.
just saying
This is for the
that
people. This is for the
maybe all
people.
those intangibles that we're talking about and not just booking shows are very important at the earlier stage. Just
Yeah.
saying.
No, I got you. All right, Nelson's got a question.
Oh, here's one that just came up. Are agents interested in indie artists?
Our agents.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Almost every artist I started with, like, I think I signed YG right before Def Jam, or right around it. But Kid Ink's a really good one because, you know, me and Ill Will are so close now to the DJ Ill Will to this day. Kid Ink was an indie artist. If you remember, like Wiz Khalifa was like the guy for this underground hip hop vibe, but Kid Ink was like starting to make some pop records, and he had 5,000 views, you know,
Okay.
maybe not that much.
So we talked about this before you got on, and
Yeah.
we talked about followers and streams and Instagram and all that stuff. Now we're in a new world. Like, can you or have you signed anybody since the pandemic, and have any of them been relatively unknown?
10.
You've signed 10 clients since March. How
More.
many of them?
Maybe 15.
How many of them have we not heard of?
I don't know. I don't know what how
Well,
hip you really
you know,
are.
I haven't heard of
that
anybody.
aren't
I thought
common
in the
household
80s.
names. 8. 8
So
or
there's
9.
about 8 that we've never heard of. If you rattle off the names right now, we won't know half of them.
No, I mean, I'm trying to do. I mean, some people have. Like, I noticed during the pandemic, you know, like London has been on the forefront of new talent, like LA was 4 years ago. So, like, I'm getting a lot more international artists. I signed, you know, over the pandemic, you know, Anna of the North, right? Anna of the North's the shit.
Yeah, you played
like,
it. For
Yeah, Anna of the North's awesome. But, like, people know Anna of the North. Is it a household name? No, but, you know, people know it. I started working with Emotional Oranges, but for international, because I do a lot overseas in Asia and everywhere else.
Now, will that, because nobody can tour, if you're signed, how does that affect your signing? You get someone or not?
For me, I love it because I'm a loser. I'm a creative nerd. So for me, I'm like, look, I got a Blackbear stream that's on Moment House. That's going to be on October 21st, and we rented out the Roosevelt Hotel, and we're doing crazy performances inside, outside. Maybe there's some special guests. Who knows? We're going to make it a real moment, a real experience. I started working a little bit with Patty Stanger, the Millionaire Matchmaker.
Yeah, I know her.
Yeah, but like I'm going to put together Zoom dating classes
Got that question.
on a platform of how to land the big fish, how to date during quarantine, how to, you know, that's just a creative idea I have because I know she's going to have another TV show.
So how do you determine whether you're going to sign an artist domestically or internationally? That was a question.
I like to sign something everywhere because I know I saw another question earlier that said, is it, you know, do you tour internationally first before the U.S.? I like to do everything right away. And like internationally, if you're doing an artist, there's certain media hubs that you need to know about. Like obviously you have BBC, right, in London. So you have to play London, you have to play Berlin, you have to do Paris, and you have to do Amsterdam. After those 4, you can come home. Like You don't have to stay out and do a whole tour, but get your press, get your interviews, get all your content shot there, and then come home. And then in a year, you have a foundation and a footprint to come back and do an extensive tour and really dig into those regions.
So I'm gonna ask you personally 2 more questions. We got 10 more minutes, so we're good. But we'll end it like a couple minutes before 6. But so
you want to end. So I just want to be really clear. You want to end this early.
No. They'll cut
Like
us
like
off.
this is not
This shit'll
usually my
snap
company.
off, dude. I'd
I'm
love to
just
do
saying.
two. We'll do another segment, and we'll do another segment.
I mean, I just don't understand because what I think is usually people want me longer. They want an extra 2 minutes. You want 2 less minutes.
Well,
So
because
that's why
I have
on
to do
agency,
I have to do our shout outs and all that shit.
I'm giving you a hard time, but I'll give you a little thing why agents write on your contracts approximately 60-minute performance, so that in case it's 58 minutes, Sean Healy does not withhold my
You're right.
check on day of show.
Now let me ask you the fucking number one question that we all want to know, and none of us can answer it.
I'm an Aries.
When are the shows
okay.
coming? When are the shows in the clubs coming back?
I mean, look, it's like when you talk to Fauci, right? Well, Fauci's not gonna. He's like, I don't have a silver ball, or crystal ball. Like we none of us know right now. For what I'm doing, I'm focusing on now. I'm sick of rescheduling dates to the next date, to the next date, to the next date. Roll up your fucking sleeves, figure out what to do to make your artist money now. I don't care if it's a virtual thing, a car show thing, getting soundtrack placements, getting you in some TV film, finally putting your animated series into some light, sending treatments to networks, working with my colleagues in the other departments, all that shit. But all that being said, next fall is much safer than next summer.
So a year.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, I hope it's the next spring.
Right.
But,
now my take on it's pretty obvious just from what I'm seeing that as far as festivals go, as far as all of us being outside in a big fucking field watching a festival.
Sorry, I was just drinking some vodka. It's after 5.
Got a little left.
No, I'm just kidding. It's water.
So as far as a festival goes, that to me does not seem like reasonable until a year from now. Outdoor festival.
Yeah, and that's the majority I'm saying. Do I think there's going to be touring first quarter? I think there could be. I hope so. In small venues with limited capacities, yes. Do I think
which is what we're hoping for as SHP.
Yeah.
We're right on the forefront of that. So,
but I also don't want to come out of the gate with all my acts on all this stuff, and then people start getting sick, and then fingers start getting pointed at certain artists and liability. I want to surround my shows around the festivals that might be moving from spring, summer to fall, and then doing proper rollouts and having time to do it the right way.
Got you.
That's just me being conservative.
Now, what do you say to the artist who is not signed to an agent, who's not signed to a label, who's literally busting their ass at home, making content, making music? What's your advice to them?
To establish your brand and to make it you stand out from the pack. The internet is great, but it also hurts us, right? So we're consuming so much music. On my Zoom call I just had before this, I was talking to the artists. When you listen to the alternative R&B playlist on Spotify, I'm having a hard time distinguishing the artists because so many people sound similar. But the second I'm on that playlist, I hear something that doesn't sound like them, I rush over to my phone and see who it is. So don't follow trends. Don't follow sounds. Trust yourself on what sounds good and let them come to you.
Perfect.
Because if I force a show, that show bombs.
Right.
If I force a record deal through my friends, they don't get the support they need in the building. It's got to happen organically and naturally, and that's by showing your talent and trusting yourself to as many people that you can.
Which is what I said in the beginning of this, is I said great, and I say it all the time, great music will always find its way. It will. If someone were to play something right now while you and I are on this live, and we were like, holy shit, that's the fucking greatest thing I've ever heard, it would transpire we would be like, who the fuck is that? We got to work with that person. So great music will always find its way, and especially now with the business being out of whack, great music will find listeners. They're free. They're available on Instagram. They're out there on Spotify. You guys got to keep promoting yourself. Mitch, I can't thank you enough for
No,
doing
I love this stuff, and it's time for all of us to give back and get a sense of community back in the world.
And we'll do it
Because we're
again.
too
We'll do it
divided.
again soon, man. We'll do it again
Yeah.
soon. I thank you so much, dude.
I'm happy to build your brand any way I can.
Oh,
I
dude,
we're
you know
talking about
how much
branding.
shit did I send you? I sent you
Oh,
stuff.
I should have worn it. I was just rushing around. I have 2 hats. I bought some T-shirts though. I bought my crew some. Oh, you have masks now. Oh, I like that. I like that.
We got
There we go.
masks, we got hats. Look, here's the equality. I'm big on the equality, okay? I'm big on the equality thing. This is our brand. We branded equality. We're trademarking this, okay? I'm big on it. The status of being equal in rights and opportunities. You fucking don't know what it means. You got a problem. Go vote. Mitch, thank you for jamming
Thank
with
you,
us.
Sean.
And thank you for that. And we'll see you soon, okay?
I'd love to do it again. Thanks, guys.
We'll do it again soon. Peace.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, you guys. So that was Mitch, man. That was Mitch, Agent Mitch, Mitch Blackman. That's my bro. Hopefully he gave you guys some good advice. We're going to do this again October 30th, okay? It's the last Friday of every month. October 30th, you can hear it, right? Because the mic's not in.
It's delayed, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So October 30th, you guys, Adrian Miller. Adrian Miller is directly responsible for signing Anderson .Paak. He works with Wu-Tang. He's got a label, Delicious Vinyl. So you guys, Friday, October 30th, Adrian Miller will be our guest. We're talking about management and labels. A few shout outs to all you guys that jam with us. We are doing live streams as a company. We're renting venues and doing live streams. So stick with us. Get on our newsletter. There's a link in the bio. October 10th at El Cid in Los Angeles, we have Riley's Cantina, which is a podcast about Star Wars. People are buying tickets to it. They're buying the T-shirts for it. It's awesome. October 24th, we're doing Aaron Carter at the Viper Room. We're renting the Viper Room and doing Aaron Carter at the Viper Room. So tune in for that. October 30th will be Adrian Miller. And like I said, we'll do this the last Friday of every month. Thank you guys so much. You can check us out at webookbands.com online. Get on our mailing list, man. We're sending out these emails every week. And thank you guys so much,